finisher he's becoming.
Lane, Oladipo. Oh! That's right. You better mean mug after you dunk on somebody that way.
Gonna run it down. He goes with it. Adebayo for the win.
Yes. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Five Reasons Sports post-game show. So we just watched one hell of a game. I'm here with the crew. We got Jonathan Ramlakan. We got Twan. Twan, which Twitter handle are we going with for you today? I know you kind of flip-flop depending on your mood.
All of them, apparently.
Oh, okay. So we got Caleb Martin in the building. Twan showing up today. And we got the OG Ricky J. Mark. Ricky, how are you doing tonight?
Now. I'm feeling fantastic. Aside from the fact that I find it peculiar that Twan and I are on the bottom, but other than that,
yeah, Jonathan, we gotta adjust.
There we go.
So now you're trying to break us up. Ricky, now you're trying to pit us against each other.
Tell me where I belong, Jonathan. There we go.
Now you're just trying to pander, and now you're cutting off. Now you're cutting me off. Now you're cutting him off. Oh, okay.
This is crazy.
Trying to put one on top of the other, right?
You know what? I guess
I'm sorry.
We can't always satisfy everybody, but I guess all Heat fans should be satisfied tonight, right? Because after watching this game,
yes,
we were missing players. The Wizards were also missing players. I don't think this is the full depiction of what both of these teams look like at full strength. But ultimately, the Heat beat the team that was in front of them, and they did it in a pretty handily fashion. Like, they looked in control for the most of the second half. Really, after the first quarter, they looked in control of this game. It was a great game. Ricky, we'll start with you. What were your thoughts on this game? What's the one thing that stood out to you?
Gabe Vincent.
Yes!
I got to give a shout out to a guy that I've really appreciated since this team signed him last season. I think it's interesting to see how they really embodied the whole next man up mentality tonight. I think he had like 15 or 16 points in 12 minutes or something like that tonight. I don't have the exact. I should probably put up the box score, but he did very well off the bench tonight. I don't think you should expect this from him every night because, in my opinion, I think he's still a third stringer. But it was encouraging to see because I think there's still room for him to grow as a player, and that could only help Miami moving forward when Tyler Hero and some of the other guys come back.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like Gabe Vincent, we're gonna pretty much have a whole Gabe Vincent segment tonight. But don't worry, we'll get to that. I'm very pleased with what I saw from him. Just to summarize a little bit, Twan, what'd you see tonight?
Well, I saw a lot. I feel like Jimmy's going to be the easy one, and I have a bunch of Jimmy things to say. But I can talk about PJ Tucker. We're getting like PJ games like stringing together, like good PJ games offensively. Like he's making shots, which was a big question. Like coming into the year, like was he going to make shots? You saw in Milwaukee, he didn't really make shots, but he was a defender. And like now we're getting like legitimately good offensive games from here. 15 points here, 13 points here. Like you take that from PJ Tucker. He didn't hit any PJ floaters tonight, which is a little disappointing. But he was able to hit 3 of 3 from the 3-point line. Got a little hook shot going. So yeah, it was a good PJ game. Obviously, what he does defensively is what he does. But yeah, it was good to see.
Yeah, I think I knew PJ was in for a good night. I think it was like maybe the beginning of the second quarter. He had a dribble drive and he spun to the right and had a finish. I was like, oh my gosh.
The first time he's ever dribbled the ball in his work.
Serum the minute he got to Miami. It's unreal how good he looks. And I guess we'll probably talk about PJ too. Jonathan, what did you see tonight?
Yeah, I mean, it was just an overall really good win, right? We were down a little bit in that first quarter. We came out really, really flat. And given the lack of shooting in the first half, we were still able to, I think, keep it closer going with the lead going into the halftime. And third quarter, man, PJ Tucker really blew that game open, right? He had 3 threes in that third quarter. Jimmy Butler all night long doing his thing, drawing free throws, hitting almost, I think he hit every single free throw. This man is almost automatic at the line. It's absolutely insane. And then Gabe Vincent just absolutely igniting. And Caleb Martin, too. Let's give a little love to him because in that second quarter, it was really the Caleb Martin and Gabe Vincent show. That half-court lob from Lowry to Caleb Martin was awesome. And he also had a phenomenal block, just showing, man, he deserves a little more than that two-way. We might see that coming for that 15th roster spot. But overall, it was a great win, and we're now the number 1 seed in the East, which makes it a little bit better, too.
For now.
Yeah, this is it didn't look like we were playing against the number 1 seed and a team that was 10-4 because they were missing pieces, but also we were too. But
They're also the Wizards.
Yeah, I was just about to get to that point. Like, is this a team that we think by the end of, say, January, are they still going to be like a top 4 team in the East, or are they going to be back to like 7th?
No, they're like a solid 6 or 7 seed. Obviously, they're playing some really good basketball, but there are a lot of teams who aren't necessarily going to still remain at the top who are playing really good basketball right now. So they're going to drop in like the middle of the season. Everybody's going to figure out the Wizards, and then like they're going to turn into a 6 or 7 seed, and we're going to be like, okay, they're fine. So
yeah, but still, hey, the team was 10-4 going in tonight. Now they're 10-5. We're 11-5. I will take it, however I can get it. So let's go into individual players here.
Real quick, before we do that, I want to thank the Weird Pastors kid for the 199 dono. Heat versus Warriors in the finals. Book it. That could be true, man. Those are the two. Those are the 2 best teams right now. To me,
that'd be such beautiful basketball.
Like NBA finals or conference finals.
Klay Thompson isn't even back yet. That's crazy.
I mean, I wish we could play.
Weird Pastors kid.
I don't think we can play the Warriors in the conference finals. So. Like
someday we gotta get rid of these conferences when seeding teams, but that's a whole nother conversation. Y'all can save that for full court press. Exactly.
Absolutely.
There we go.
Know it, Ricky. You know it. So let's get individual players here because we got a bunch of really good individual performances tonight. Like outside of good team basketball, I think you have a lot of players that you can point out, right? Ricky, we'll go to you. Tell me about Jimmy Butler, because this is someone that I almost feel like we've started to take his great games for granted a little bit. What did you see from Jimmy tonight? And maybe from a macro perspective, what do you expect to see from him moving forward?
I saw a top 5 player in Heat history tonight. I saw the greatest forward not named LeBron James in Heat history tonight. I saw a guy that deserves to be in the conversation for top 3 if Miami is able to get a top 3 seed. The guy did a little bit of everything. I think too often we fall in love with narratives and Cinderella stories because people say that, oh, you shouldn't go play with a team that has good players. You need to do it all by yourself. No one can win a game. No one can win a title all by themselves. Basketball is a team sport. And one of the beautiful things about watching good basketball players play with great ones is that you get great basketball. It's easy for Jimmy Butler. So you see the stat line right there. I think Ramlakan, you're the one that put that there, right? Okay, good. It's easy for Jimmy to get 32 points, 5 assists, 4 steals, and 3 rebounds when he doesn't have to worry about getting the remaining 5 assists or 7 steals or 5 rebounds because he's got other players around him taking the load off his back. Even without Tyler Hero tonight, Jimmy Butler was able to do his thing. PJ Tucker was able to step up, and the guy I mentioned earlier in this show, Gabe Vincent, was able to step up. It's great when great players get to have help, and when you see that, you can really see the best of that player as opposed to that player chucking up shots just so this team can have a chance. Just compare Jimmy last season, where he had to have LeBron-like numbers just for Miami to be competitive. I like this Jimmy. And as one of my fellow Kings just said, it's my favorite Jimmy. Yes, because he's playing on a good team. Let's get more of this. I want more talent and I want more cohesion on this team. It's all for the best.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And like, it's so pretty to see Jimmy play basketball. It looks like he's playing the game that he wants to play, right? Like one thing that stood out to me is Jimmy's just having fun playing basketball. Like he's smiling. He's having fun with all these guys. He's talking a bunch of shit and whatever. Twan, what did you see from Jimmy in terms of, like, obviously Ricky kind of touched on pretty much everything you wanted to talk about for Jimmy, but kind of like a mental perspective. Like, does this Jimmy look like he's just in a better place than maybe he was last year when he's playing basketball?
I was looking at him, and I think this was like late third quarter, and I was like, did he get better? Like, just looking at Jimmy, he's not doing anything different than he was doing last year or like the first year he got here, but it's just like more, and I guess it's easier because he's just getting to his spots. He's going to post up. He's going to shoot the fade over the top. If he's stronger than you, he's going to turn around and like lay the ball up. Oh, and the league is having trouble getting to the line. Well, Jimmy's going to go there 10 times or hit all 10 free throws.
Yes,
like,
he doesn't flop.
He's doing whatever he wants at all times. And this isn't even talking about defense where he shuts down a complete side of the court. You cannot throw the ball over there. If there's a guy looking to pass the ball, like holding it, it's going to get tipped out. Like we're going to run in transition, and it's happening every single game. Like I tweeted this, like he looks legitimately like a top 5 player right now. Like
yeah,
that's
absolutely.
That's not even exaggerating. That's not gassing. I don't care who it is. You name the best wing in the NBA right now, and Jimmy's right there with him. He is dominating every game. It does not matter who the opponent is, who the matchup is. He's dominating.
Yeah. The only reason I feel like, oh no, go ahead, Ricky.
No. I'm uplifting my fellow king. You know what I'm saying?
Of course, as you should.
You don't know nothing about that guy.
When we talk about Jimmy, I feel like the national perspective and just the overall perspective that pretty much all of casual NBA fans have on him is, oh, Jimmy Butler, like he just had that one game, he's just a fluke in the bubble, whatever, yada yada yada. Like he doesn't really appeal to say like the casual basketball player, like the casual basketball fan eye, but like if you just sit down, you watch what Jimmy Butler does for a full 90 or full 40 minutes on like all 94 feet. It's a beautiful thing. He does it on both ends. It's really fantastic. He's all over the floor. Jonathan, what have you seen do you think Jimmy, I'll go to Jonathan as this question. Do you think he is top 5 in MVP voting now, or he should be? And do you think he will finish the season at that point?
Yes, I do believe so, because I believe the way this team is playing, he's going to limit the games that he would be used less, right? Because we've seen it already a little bit. We're load managing these games. We're playing 3 out of our 4 stars. So instead of Jimmy kind of having to take a back seat in a game, they'll probably have him just rest the game. So his stat line is going to end up looking really, really good. To Twan's point, I love the point of him shutting off half the court, right? Ed Reed, right? Troy Polamalu, that dude just pretty much shutting it down a whole side of the court. And
better not throw there.
What's up?
Better not throw there.
Yep.
Oh yeah, exactly. You can't. And what was it? 4 steals tonight. 4 steals, and he made it look easy every single time. And he's punishing him. And the one steal that was my favorite is where he got the steal, passed it off to Lowry, and then he got up all in Tyler's face on the bench. And man, like you said, he's having fun while he's playing. And I think the reason that he's having an easier time getting to his spots, Lowry can put him in those spots better, right? You run a small pick and roll, with Kyle Lowry, they're going to have to switch because they have to respect both guys.
Yes.
So now Jimmy's going to be able to get into his spots easier. You have a guy like Kyle Lowry. You now have Kendrick Nunn feeding him the ball. You have Kyle Lowry feeding him the ball. So it's a lot better. He's able to get to his spots easier. And when he gets to his spots, he's almost unguardable, right? That little shimmy going, faking inside, going outside. He freezes everybody with that. And once he freezes you and he gets past you, he's going to go to the line. And like you said, his physicality is the reason that his numbers hasn't dropped at the free throw line. He's not flopping like James Harden. He's actually using his physicality to get to the line. So he's just doing phenomenal things. And I think the consistency of what he's doing with having Kyle Lowry to put him in the right spots is going to allow him to be in that top 5 conversation all year long.
Yeah, we're getting really, really pretty basketball from Jimmy Butler here. Before we transition to maybe another player, I did want to shout out one of the primary sponsors of the Post Up Show, which is Insurance by Lynette, Aggressive Insurance Agency. So if you have any insurance needs, make sure you give Lynette a call. She's a huge Heat fan, great to interact with on Twitter. We got Ricky, we got Jonathan pointing it out. You got to call the number. I can't really read it right now. I think it's 954-581-8800.
I got you.
There we go. I read it correctly. 954-581-8800. Make sure to give Lynette a call for all of your insurance needs. Let's get to another player here.
I think
Ricky, you talked about him at the beginning. Twan, we'll start with you here.
Hold up. Shout out these boys as well.
Oh no, we'll get to CPT. Don't worry.
Got you.
We'll do it in seconds.
Are you running on CPT? Oh, sorry. I'm going.
Hey,
CPT
talk
is my
to me
boy.
about my guy, because you know
sorry,
what?
I have bias towards CPT. That
This is a vindicating moment for me a little bit, because it was a good game last night and it was a great game tonight. But talk to me about my guy. Talk to me about him. Talk to me about Gabe Vincent. What did you see tonight? Is this something we can see moving forward? What do you expect from him moving forward? Does this change the perception on him? Just give me your whole spiel on Gabe Vincent right now.
First of all, Namdi, we need to put some respect on that man's name.
You better tell him.
He was out here performing. That was the biggest thing going into this season. If shots finally fell for Gabe, he can be good. You know what he brings defensively? He's a little small. It is what it is. But if he hits shots, things look totally different in terms of like a backup point guard or whatever. He was going from not even being playable in the rotation till now when guys are out, he has to play, and he's able to stay in there. So we got the complete Gabe Vincent experience tonight. He was hitting threes. He got a dunk. I didn't even know he had bounce. So
I don't even know.
Oh, they all got bounce.
What?
First dunk I've ever seen him have.
Defending, like getting to the rim, being aggressive. That's all we want from Gabe, is just for him to be aggressive when it comes to like looking for a shot and getting shots up. And then he's making shots. So everything is great with Gabe right now. I don't think he can continue like be at this level, 18 points or nothing like that.
If he has 18, I think we're probably going 74-8 or something.
Exactly.
If
we can get like 13, 11 points in spurts from Gabe Vincent, like you take that. I don't know if he's going to be 18, 3 of 6 from the 3-point line good, but if he can be decent, then like we take that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think the biggest thing with Gabe is he just didn't look like he was thinking. Like when he started that game against Indiana, oh my gosh, you can just tell when a basketball player is thinking about what they are doing. He just was not thinking tonight. It was natural. It was pure. He was playing basketball in its purest form. He was just having fun out there like the rest of the team. Ricky, what did you see from Gabe tonight?
Look, Gabe might be a small guy. He might be 6'1" or whatever, and that's considered small by NBA standards. But my man is a grower, not a shower. Okay, he comes in, he does his thing, he plays hard, and look, there is no shame in being a third string point guard in the National Basketball Association. That means you are one of 400 of the greatest basketball players in the world. Okay, let's just be real clear about that. Any one of these people, UD included, you take him to the YMCA down the street, LeBron James. Okay, it's just that we watch a league where the athletes are so good at what they do. Guys on the end of the bench look pedestrian by comparison. Gabe Vincent is knocking that shot down every single time at the YMCA. We got Olympic Gabe tonight, and I just hope that as a result of a game like this, his confidence is able to grow. Because here's the thing, the talent's there. He wouldn't be in the league or even the G League if he didn't have talent. The confidence needs to match up with the talent. The focus needs to match up with the both of those. And when you sprinkle in some consistency, then you've got to what are we doing?
This is John Roger, maybe the comment of the night. Gabe is a grower, not a shower. Should have been a hard out, no pun intended.
Hard emphasis on hard.
That's a damn good comment. Oh my god.
I mean, my take don't even matter no more. That's it right there.
Nah, Ricky, I just think you just dropped the best line that maybe we've had in quite a while. Grower, not a shower. That's Gabe Vincent for you. So, Jonathan, talking about Gabe Vincent moving forward, I think one question I want to ask here, because it looked like in a game where we thought Max Strus was going to have that role, Gabe Vincent was the one that had that role. I think primarily the reason he got the nod is the Wizards are very guard-oriented, maybe just to have someone that you could trust to switch on to Brad Beal for a few seconds. That might be the reasoning why, but Gabe showed out. And, Spo gravitates towards those defensive-minded players. Do you think this game might open the door for maybe Gabe turning into that ninth guy until Depot gets back, or is it still going to be Strus until further notice?
It's still going to be Strus until further notice, and here's why. Because Gabe was inserted for his ball handling abilities that Hero obviously would have brought otherwise. I think when you have that ball handling capability that Tyler Hero has, you just need a guy that can play off ball and stretch the floor, and I think that guy is going to be Max Strus. Now, don't get me wrong. I think Gabe Vincent does have a role, right? Like you said, in the zone defense tonight, in the small versus the small ball lineups of the Wizards, he was giving them absolute hell. Anybody he was switching off on the top of the key, whether it was Kyle Kuzma or Beal or KCP, he was giving them hell. And, he got foul, he got a couple of fouls calling him, but he was being very aggressive. And the one shot that I really liked, he hit a three, and then he came running up to get a full court press. Like, that's something you don't see from 99% of players. And that's something that you appreciate about Gabe. But as far as him, inserting himself in that ninth man role versus Max Strus, I think Strus still has that more long-term play that he can do with more lineups. But when Tyler Hero is out, these are the type of games that are, at least try to get to these types of games is what we want to see from Gabe Vincent.
Yeah, no, I actually totally agree here. Ricky, do you think it's still going to be Strus as well?
I'm a Strus guy. I'm always going to be a Strus guy. I liked him when Miami signed him, and I like him now. I was almost heartbroken when he averted disaster. Yeah. I think it was against the Grizzlies, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe so. Yes.
On that. Yeah, where he was having a coming out party, so to speak, and for him to end it that way, he's that dude, man.
Adding on, Ricky, don't you?
What?
Coming out party, huh?
Well, I mean, that's what we call games like that. So,
Grower, not a shower, coming out party. I love it.
He's got an agenda.
Well, there's a lot of phallic puns tonight, huh? Yeah. Well, so good.
Twan, Strus or Gabe moving forward? Which one do you think is going to be?
I think it's got to be Strus. There's a need there for him. There's a need for him, like guys like him, Caleb Martin, and stuff like that. Just big guys big wing guys who can like stretch the floor a little bit, especially when like everybody is healthy, because it's harder to find a space for Gabe to be in the lineup with your heroes who you really want to control, that bench unit, who you really want. He's pretty much playing point guard when he comes off the bench. You really want him in there versus Gabe, who can kind of do some things. You don't know if you really want him to be an off-ball guy or if you want to be an on-ball guy. So it's just an easier fit with Max Strus in there versus Gabe.
I get that. I feel that. I think it will be Strus. But I just wonder, because Strus has been struggling off-ball defensively. He's had some moments where he's good, but I think that's one of the reasons you see Caleb Martin playing too, is he's just more active off-ball. I think Spo, for these bench guys, he might just be targeting activity more so than anything else, right? Because, like, they're just both so crazy when they're on the floor. Gabe and Caleb, it's just reckless at all times, and it's really fun to watch. Like, they fit the Heat kind of like role player guys you stick in there for a few minutes, completely changes the game. But Strus, he does have that ignitability offensively, which is definitely a big impact. So I want to ask a question here about Duncan Robinson, actually, because tonight wasn't a great shooting night. Twan, you're rubbing your hands here. Do you have slander incoming?
I had the slander coming. I did.
Really?
But go ahead. I'm gonna let you.
So we'll go to Jonathan here first. We'll rotate. Jonathan. So Duncan went 2 of 9 from the field. I believe 2 of 8. I have my own personal opinion about how he played tonight. But what were your thoughts on Duncan? Obviously this isn't the best shooting night to see. What did you see from Duncan tonight?
I want to give a shout out to Threat for coming up with this line last night. Kyle Lowry coming in was the thickest dude, but Duncan Robinson was the most ass on the court. And again, thank you, Threat.
Wait, what? I'm sorry?
That was Threat. Threat's joke from last night from the coach corner had me dying, so I appreciate you. I hope you're watching. But, man, Duncan Robinson was garbage. Like, he had his moments defensively for the first time all season. He had his moments defensively for the first time all season in that first quarter. He had a couple of steals. He was getting in the way. But, man, he needs to hit your shot. And he was even getting some beautiful dribble handoff and wide open shots. And don't get me wrong, they left him, they're regarding him pretty well. But I'm not liking what I'm seeing from him. And it's getting very, very worrying. And it's tough to defend him anymore, right? Because he's not making anything, like nothing. And even the mid-range shot.
Mathematically speaking, he hit 2 shots. So that's something, right? 25% from 3. That's what we paid him for.
Okay, he's making a non-zero number. Right? He's making a non-zero number.
Hold on, guys. Wait, I think Sean Rochester just entered the chat. I think he's ready. I think he's ready.
There's no way.
You're coming for Duncan, so I just know he's lurking.
Yeah.
He's coming.
I got
Send him the link. Send Sean the link. I would love to get him in here because I think I might agree with Sean. I don't even know what his take is, but I think him and I might actually be in agreement on this. Shout out to somebody with the $2 dono. Duncan back to trash. PJ has been outstanding. We're going to get to PJ in just a minute because he also deserves his own segment. What we're seeing from this man is truly unbelievable. Ricky, what's your take on Duncan? Is it extremely negative as well?
I'm going to be honest with you. I'd like to just go ahead and yield my time because I want some of this slander. I want it.
Okay, so Twan, you have the floor. The floor is yours.
All right, let's get the caveat out the way first. The man only had 3 steals in the first quarter. So let's give him some praise there. He was solid defensively. But now let's move to what we paid the man for. I feel like there are a bunch of people on this team who just lied to us for absolutely no reason. They weren't, influenced in any way. They just lied unprovoked. Let's start out with Bam Adebayo. This man said he was going to turn into a shooter. Hasn't taken a 3-pointer all year.
Fair.
This man, Duncan Robinson, was paid this summer to shoot the basketball and just forgot how to shoot the basketball. Doesn't make any sense to me. They told me Caleb Martin was a 2-way guy. He looks like he deserves a contract. Just a bunch of people just lying to us for no reason. It makes no sense. But back to Duncan Robinson. Duncan Robinson has the best looks he's ever seen playing with the Miami Heat, other than when they didn't know who he was. Like, they didn't know he can shoot or anything like that. Now that they know, he's getting the best looks that he's ever gotten. He's getting set up perfectly, and he just can't hit. If he's not making any shots, what does he do? You don't put him out there for his defense. Is he solid? Yes. But if you can, in a perfect world, are you putting Duncan Robinson out there to defend anybody? No. What are you putting him out there for? To shoot the basketball. If he's going to shoot 2 for 8 or 2 for 9 or 2 for 10 or whatever, you cannot play him. And then he's tanking his trade value. So how are we going to get Brandon Ingram to Miami?
Oh, that's not happening. Like take the Brandon Ingram idea and literally just throw it away because it's not going to happen. The way that Tyler Hero's playing, like, I don't see them. That's just a conversation. The point is completely moot. Do not see it happening. I could get into why, logistically speaking, you would have to take 3 key pieces off this. I did 3.
Oh,
3. 3. I'm out of it right now. It's been a long week. But anyways, you would take 3 key pieces off this team. It's not going to happen. I don't really want to entertain that. The Heat are balling. So I want to get to this point with Duncan. I didn't really feel like it was all that bad. Like defensively, at least it was there. My complaint when he wasn't hitting shots is the effort wasn't even there on like either end, right? I thought the effort was there. Like outside of not hitting his shots, I actually thought he did a good job. I actually thought he played okay, which is good enough. Like for a shooter, you have to understand there's going to be peaks and valleys. Obviously, we started a lot more valleys, but I think the defense was there. There was effort to get to the boards, rebounding. It's not going to be perfect every single night. We got a few good nights. It's disappointing he hasn't been able to string like 4 straight nights together or something like that. It was really funny when he took the mid-range and just bricked it because that's something we've been wanting him to take. He takes it. It looks pretty. And, oh, my gosh, it just does not go in. But I think Duncan's going to be okay as long as the effort is there. But I think it is interesting. I feel like I don't have the numbers in front of me. I feel like his minutes have been going down recently. That's something that I think is very interesting we should track.
The biggest thing was, like, last year and 2 years ago, he was so nuclear. Like, he was absurd as a 3-point shooter. Like, and then he just fell off a cliff. I think that's the most disappointing part.
I think he'll be all right, though. Like, if I'm being honest, I know I was the first person to lash out, right? Like, I was as loud as possible because the effort just was not there. But I think mentally he was locked in. The shot just was not falling. I don't know if that's better or worse, but I feel like that's better because you want him to play a completely round floor game, which is close-ish to what we saw. The effort is there. That's all I can really ask for at this point. The role players need to show effort, and I'll be okay with them. So I want to get to some donos here. Shout out Prod by Pag TV, my guy. You hate to see it, LOL. I like Dunk, but he ain't hooping in my RDC World Voice, LOL. I did not read it in the RDC World Voice, but thank you for the donation. Huh?
Continue, Gad.
Oh, thank you. All right, so we got another dono from Question Everything. Duncan, 2 good games, 5 bad ones. Yeah, like that's kind of what we're at. He had 2 good games. He had 1 bad one today. Hopefully it's not 4 more. Do we think this is going to turn into another slump? Or is there any overreaction to this game at all from Duncan?
Wouldn't a little bit suggest that he's been doing well?
I mean, he had 2 good games.
You know, he's getting what you want. I'm not too upset with it.
I don't think it's going to be like a streak or anything like that. Like he's going back into another slump. I just don't know how ridiculous it's going to get like from this point. Like, is he going to shoot? Is he going to make 9 tomorrow? Like, or Saturday or whatever? Like, you don't know.
Because I think we're going to need it in Washington. But we'll get to that later on. Shout out HM for the $5 dono. I've had just about enough of Bumpkin Robinson. Where does Vic fit in when or where does he fit in when Vic hopefully comes back healthy? That's an interesting question. Ricky, we'll go to you here. Where does Duncan fit with Depot healthy? Like, does that affect Duncan's role at all?
Yeah, I don't think his
role.
I don't think his role changes because unless Victor Oladipo is suddenly a 45% 3-point shooter and learned how to become one while healing from this knee/quad injury, Duncan is still going to be the guy they need to hit 3-point shots. And not only that, if I'm not mistaken, I think there have been multiple conversations either on the 5 on the Floor podcast, which should be dropping tonight if it's not already out, and Before Floor, as well as Clutch Corner, and even some episodes of Full Court Press, and maybe even Feel the Heat with 2 other members of. We are content machines in this network, by the way. Oh my God!
This is true. This is true.
There's just so much, and maybe even on Dono too. He's probably going to be the backup point guard. When he comes back, Victor Oladipo, meaning that Duncan Robinson, Max Strus are still going to be able to find their shots at like maybe the backup 3 or something like that. So I don't see it changing all that much because of what they need from him, assuming he's not traded in late January.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I think, especially with Duncan's role kind of already shrinking, I don't think Depot coming back is going to do much to it. But enough about Duncan.
Oh, wait, Gad, hold on.
Oh, go ahead.
Paces and Spaces.
Oh,
the
best halftime show in the world.
On Twitter with Monday Night Marco, Sean Rochester. I think In the Lane is on there too, right?
In the Lane, indeed, is on there.
Yeah, and a few other people.
Yeah,
I can't forget them because I know I'm going to get angry letters because they still send me letters. And
so we got another donation here from somebody. PJ up to 45% from 3 this year. Duncan take lessons. I think it's time we get to PJ Tucker. I want to get to some of these donos first, though. They shout out David Sasson with the Teletubby Jokic profile picture. The Heat need to send Duncan to sell tickets for American Airlines Arena. Ni hao, if you know what I mean. I wish Kendall was on because I already guarantee he'd be sending a one-way ticket to the Long Shot podcast. Talking like movies. Thank you for the $5 donation. I love watching the opposing team's broadcast. Despite Duncan's struggles, every team fears him. They literally hold their breath every time he shoots. I haven't watched an opposing team's broadcast yet this season. Honestly, I'm pretty loyal to Bally Sports, but or at least I'm loyal to Eric Reed. We'll put it that way. But yeah, I guess maybe Duncan still strikes fear into the other opponents, like the Wizards. They came out and their game plan was to stop Duncan in the first quarter, which is bold. It didn't pay off in the
strategy, Cotton. Let's see how it pays off.
Like, I understand like the spacing and the gravity and all that good stuff, but like he's not even hitting like those like slightly open looks.
Ooh,
Ricky, question for you. Did you want to put the one back up?
Yeah. I'm always a blue, so I'm gonna have to go with diamond. I already got the pre-order code and everything. I'm gonna download that thing. I'm gonna play it at the doctor's office tomorrow. It's lit. It's lit, y'all.
Nice.
Come at me.
Okay, so it's time. It's time we get to the main event.
Oh boy.
Maybe the best player in the entire world right now.
Caleb Martin.
No.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Think again. Ricky, who's the best player in the world right now?
KZ Okpala.
Oh my God. Jonathan, last chance.
PJ Tucker.
PJ Tucker. One more time.
PJ
Tucker.
Tucker.
Oh my gosh. How good of a basketball player is he?
What happened?
This is like, what? Every single time he plays, I'm more surprised by how damn good and talented this man is. I know Ricky's been pointing it out. Like, you put PJ on pretty much any other basketball team in the entire world outside of these top 29 other teams that are in the NBA. He's easily the best player on the court. But, like, wow. PJ is just incredible. Ricky, you're looking at me weird here.
I mean, didn't he just win a title with another one of those teams? But
like, he wasn't Giannis, and now he kind of is. Sarcastically speaking, of course. But he's playing such good basketball, man. Like, it's unbelievable. Twan, what have you seen from PJ Tucker? And just how good is he?
First of all, I don't know what I thought PJ Tucker was, like as a basketball player, but this man has just blown every expectation that I had for him out the water. Like, again, I've never seen this diet of floaters from PJ Tucker, but he's throwing up floaters. He's catching the ball in the short roll and like making plays. Like,
unreal.
He's hitting threes. He's tapping out rebounds, snagging rebound, defending whoever he wants to. He can defend the nation of Israel if he wanted to. Defend everybody. Like, the dude is just ridiculous. It doesn't make any sense. I did not know he was that. Like, everybody knew what what we were getting when PJ Tucker came. Like, oh, the defense is going to be great. The offense is going to be good. He's going to shoot corner threes. And then he just does everything else. Like, he can make reads. Oh, he can defend. Oh, he can tap out rebounds. He can offensive rebound. Like, he's like our best offensive rebounder right now, and he's like 6'5". It makes no sense. He's so ridiculous, bro. I
feel like he was just so – maybe it's just that he was so underutilized in his past 2 stops where you had, like, extremely ball-dominant players. Like, you had
horrible coaches.
Chris Paul. Well, I wouldn't even say horrible coaches because, like, it's understandable they put him in that role. You know what he's good at, especially the Bucks. Like, they acquired him mid-season. You're not going to tinker with anything. So I get that from Budenholzer.
They could have been better.
But, like, PJ just has never had this free reign offensively, and it is so pretty to watch. I was scared. Anytime, well, I mean, it's still kind of scared every time PJ dribbles the ball, but he is just so damn smart with the ball in his hands. Like, Twan, you alluded to it. The short roll. Oh my gosh. I've never seen someone make such seamless decisions. It's truly unbelievable. So we got question everything here with one hell of a comment. PJ in a wheelchair over Prime Precious. I don't even know what Prime Precious is gonna look like. But
they're not happy with him up there. I was listening to No Dunks the other day, and they were like, Precious is so super athletic, but nah.
He's an untamed ball of energy. And no one knows what to do with it. it's uncontrollable. But like, I mean, I honestly would agree with that. I think PJ in a wheelchair is probably still fantastic in the short roll, and that floater's still falling. So I'll take it. Talking movies, been saying this forever. You don't win MVP in the Euro leagues if you don't have immense skill. Absolutely. I see it now. It took some time. I've seen the light. I think we all have, honestly. Like, I'm so happy with the way PJ's playing. Jason Adebawale, thank you for the dono. TBH, I think Spo's bringing out the best of PJ. I've never seen him hit so much floaters, pass from the elbows. Harden make this guy look so one way. Absolutely. Like, Ricky, you are probably the most knowledgeable person I know in terms of like regarding NBA history. Have you ever seen PJ Tucker do anything like this? To this extent?
No, but it really speaks to what I was talking about a little earlier with regards to the talent level of most of the players in the league. Sometimes you just need the right opportunity and the right offense to activate you, because you've got guys that are withering on the vine in some teams, but then you put them in another team and next thing you know, they're most improved player. Who's to say that someone like, what would be a good example of a player that came? I mean, just pick a player that's come to Miami and completely
I think James Johnson is one of the first players that comes to mind.
Like these are guys that for some reason, there's something about the way we do things here, whether it's the fitness or the positionless way we tend to roll out rotations. There's something about that just causes players. I mean, you know what? From a historical standpoint, right? Pat Riley has always loved forwards that have ball handling ability. I'll just take you through a quick trip down memory lane.
Yes, please.
Magic Johnson with the Lakers, Michael Cooper with the Lakers. Then he goes to New York, Anthony Mason with the Knicks. Then he comes to Miami, Jamal Mashburn with the Heat. Okay, he goes and he steps away because the team starts losing and Pat Riley can't handle that, right? Go figure. Lamar Odom comes to the team. There's your point forward again. This guy was the goods up in New York before he came to the league, right? Lamar Odom gets traded. Then you have Dwayne Wade, a big point guard who was initially a point guard before they moved him to the 2 and put Damon Jones there. And then the following season, Antoine Walker, another big forward that comes in and basically runs the offense as a big forward, okay? Not only that, in those years when Miami sucked in the early 2000s, you had Anthony Mason back again at power forward, was an all-star, led the Heat to 50 wins. We continue to move on, right? The Heat win the title, okay, and then they bottom out shortly thereafter, okay? They get they have one of the worst records in the league. You end up with Michael Beasley. Okay, well, whatever. Okay,
that's a hooper. That's not a Spo player. That's a hooper.
Yeah, that's a hooper. But then that LeBron James guy shows up for 4 years. After him, we try not to talk about this player too much anymore, but Josh McRoberts was supposed to be a big forward that was supposed to run the offense and do all that other stuff.
Instead, he was a piece of wet paper.
Right, yeah, he was basically Ben Simmons before Ben Simmons because that man refused to shoot the ball. Okay,
yes.
And then we move on. We're getting closer and closer to the present, right? The Whiteside era comes and goes and all that other stuff, and now you've got players that can play a variety of different positions. And guess what? In the league right now, you've got a bunch of players that are supposedly positionless, but Miami's been doing this for a long time.
Absolutely.
Now. Big guards, big forwards that are able to basically run your offense when the small guys are supposed to be doing that. And it all started with a guy named Magic Johnson in Los Angeles.
That's a great point. That is a great point. And
so PJ Tucker shouldn't surprise anybody.
Yeah, I think the thing that stands out to me with the whole PJ situation is like he's 36 years old. Like he's had this ability maybe at previous stops, maybe stops that we personally have not. I personally have not seen. But Jonathan, I'll go to you here. Is this a credit to Spo? Because it seems like he gets these kinds of guys where maybe they just outplay their contracts when they're here. It's not that they're going to be world beaters, all-stars, although PJ Tucker's been playing like an all-star the last 3 games. I have to do it. But they play past their contract value, and I think it's a lot of it. Do you think it's because Spo just doesn't put these players in boxes and he kind of just goes mad scientist with them? Like, what is it about Spo that allows all these players to have this sort of breakout?
I feel like Spo always knows what his players' strengths are and always tries to play towards those strengths, right? Putting Jimmy on the block against a smaller player, having Bam in the pick and roll with Kyle, the dribble handoff with Duncan Robinson, everything that Hero's doing now. He's all about putting the players in the right position to be successful. And with PJ Tucker, just operating out of the corner, operating out of that, short, top of the key, maybe he operates kind of like a mini Bam, right? Where he can do that dribble handoff. Like we talk about, he sets a million good screens. Coach Spo just knows how to use his players. So I think this is a credit to Coach Spo because you put PJ Tucker in any other offense. First of all, he's not going to fit in like he does in Miami because this is a match made in heaven, right? Jimmy was a match made in heaven coming to Miami. I feel like PJ Tucker is just as well of a match. It's just his tenacity and his energy completely matches what this team wants to do and bring every single night. And when you have such a perfect combination and like you said, a mad scientist coach and Coach Spo, it's all going to work really, really well. So I think it's a credit to Spo, but also got to give the credit to PJ Tucker because he brings the tools to make it happen.
Absolutely. And it looks like, I guess Brady said that, like, it looks like PJ Tucker, when he's been at practice, when he's been at shoot-arounds and all these things, and he's been at warm-ups, he works on that floater. And credit to him, I feel like that's something that might have been developed over the last few years. And he said, okay, if I'm not going to be playing strictly in the corner, because I don't want to do that, that's not real basketball, I need to add some other things to my bag. So maybe before he had a little wet Publix paper bag, and now he's got a nice little... He's got one of those like tote bags you bring home, right? He's got some things in the bag. It's pretty. Like some of the things he does, he may not have that much of an arsenal, but when he does use them, he's really good at what he does. And that's the hallmark of a really good role player in the NBA. So credit to PJ, credit to Spo. They've done a fantastic job. Shout out Jason Adebawale here. With PJ giving you 10 to 15 a night, imagine how good this offense would be if Duncan was hitting consistently. That's the ultimate X factor, right?
Yeah,
Duncan.
100%.
When
because
Duncan
we're
hits,
winning with him playing like poop.
and we're healthy, who's beating this team? Like, it's
Sweet Jesus.
The 96 Bulls.
Yeah. If that's the conversation we're having, I'm very happy with it.
PJ Tucker is going to box out Dennis Rodman.
All right. I'm done.
I've said some out-of-pocket things. That might be the craziest thing I've heard all night. That might be the craziest thing
it would be a fight for sure.
So credit to PJ, though. Credit to PJ. Credit to Spo that using PJ as a screener all over the floor and using him the short roll has really just unlocked so much. And I mean, listen, if PJ is going to be a positive offensively with how good this starting lineup is defensively and the levels that this team can get to with Hero and Depot playing the way they do off the bench, like, whew. So Jonathan, I think we got also shout out Royal. I haven't even mentioned Royal tonight. Royal, the
man does not lie.
Royal is load managing. Don't worry, he'll be back. And we're going to have a fantastic time when he is back. But shout out Royal. Take care of your chickens. Do all that good stuff. Hope you're having a great night. Marshawn Lynch reference.
Is that a euphemism for? Oh, okay.
Marshawn Lynch reference. Don't worry. Jonathan, we got the CPT.
So yes, shout out to CPT Insurance. Appreciate them as always for sponsoring the 5 Reason Post Up Show. For all your IT service needs, for all your cloud services needs, if you're a business and you have all your files in a flash drive, you need to stop that because that can get lost and all your files can go everywhere. They're going to take care of you. They're going to make sure all your files are protected. They'll make sure everything's encrypted. They'll take care of you with all your IT needs so you don't have to go and hire somebody yourself to do that. So make sure you call CPT Insurance. They'll take care of all your IT needs, take care of all your cloud services, and they'll take care of all your tech needs. Make sure you check out CPT of South Florida, cptflorida.com.
Connecting people and technology.
That's what they do, I guess. So about 44 minutes in, roughly, we have a game against Washington again on Saturday. Before we get to that game,
Bam. I feel like he had a good game.
Do you want to talk about Bam?
Sure, let's just talk about Bam. 20 points. Go ahead. 20 points, 9 rebounds. I mean, the pick and roll was there all night, right? He was able to attack the rim. I felt like he had a couple of shots where he used his muscle to get a little closer than he would have done last year. Instead of falling away, he actually waited. He was a little more patient. Getting his, he's just doing his thing, man. He's hitting that jumper. He's hitting that little fall away, going towards the paint. I like what I'm seeing from him. He's not turning into the superstar we want to see from him yet, but he's filling the role that he needs to do. And I think that's all we can ask for him from now. And him sitting on the back of that defense with PJ Tucker and Kyle Lowry and Jimmy Butler floating around, such a beautiful thing to watch.
It's so fun. Miami's making defense really, really fun again. It's been a while. Maybe it's the rule changes again. In addition to that. We said what, Jonathan?
Make defense great again.
Where were you on January 6th, Jonathan?
I don't know. Looking a little bright right now.
You can't trust me. You can't hide it. You can't hide it. It's built in. You can hide it all you want. They don't love you, bro. They don't love you.
That's great again.
Ricky. So you have always been a big proponent that maybe being that superstar role offensively has not really been Bam's thing. Are you happy with what you've seen from Bam this season?
I'm somewhat pleased. I was more pleased with how he was at the start of the season before some of the injuries started to pile up a little bit and slowed him down. I think what we saw out of him was a guy that legitimately could average 25 and 14 with 5 or 6 assists. I mean, it's not an altogether crazy thing to say when you see him playing that way. Bam Adebayo is a special kind of player. He's been kind of limited lately, and that might have knocked his assertiveness back some. But I definitely believe that if he's able to get back into that mode where he was at the start of the season, then this Heat team is going to be a tough out if they ever go out, because Big Body Bam is
BBB.
a very well. Sure, yeah, that's fine. You were a letter off there, but okay, we'll leave that alone. This is a family show. Big Body Bam is a very tough prospect against just about anybody. He'll make up for the struggles that he usually has with length, with athleticism, strength, power, and a motor that is unbelievable. I just hope that he's able to get back to that point and get fully healthy, so that way, when it comes to be winning time, this Heat team will be ready. Because, I remember back when Hassan Whiteside when he had promise. I remember the NBA on TNT guys saying this team will go as far as Hassan Whiteside will carry them.
What a disgusting sentence.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. They can actually act like they watch Heat games by repeating that, except replacing Bam Adebayo, or replacing Hassan Whiteside with Bam Adebayo. This Heat team will go as far as Bam Adebayo's healed shoulders will take them. Not Jimmy, not Kyle Lowry, but Bam Adebayo. He is the X factor, and if he can elevate his game heading into April, May, June, there might be another parade down Biscayne Boulevard.
Ooh.
I'm just saying.
See, we don't get this type of positivity from you, I feel like, that often, Ricky, so it is refreshing to hear it. I have to say.
You can call it positivity, but I'm going to call it down the middle every time. You can interpret it however you want.
No, it's like when, say, like someone like Tim Legler, someone who I really respect his basketball opinion. He gives you these really level-headed approaches, and it's always maybe not everything that you want to hear. But when I do hear it from you, it's the same thing as Tim Legler. I'm like, damn, you know what? Maybe we are onto something. Maybe we are building something there. It's the affirmation that I really do appreciate. Twan, have you been impressed with Bam at all this season, or is it kind of like status quo?
I think I'm leaning status quo. Like, I love Bam. Bam may be my favorite player in the league. Like, legitimately, I just love everything that he does, and he's so big and he can be so dominant. I just think his mentality isn't built necessarily for a superstar. He doesn't have that give me the ball, watch out, I can do whatever I want, even though we know that he has the talent and ability to do it whenever he wants. I think the only matchups that really can bother him in any shape or form is an Anthony Davis matchup or a Giannis Antetokounmpo. Every other big in the league, he has an advantage against, whether he's too fast for them, he's too strong for them. Every other one. But even against those guys, even against the Anthony Davis and the Giannis, he can still be effective, like if he wants to. He got a whole lot of KG in his game where it's face-up jumper, and it's pretty much been knocked down whenever he wants to. But I do feel like he has some of that, I can just, be a secondary guy. We can let Jimmy work. We can let Tyler work, and I can just kind of like pick my spots where he wants to. But in reality, this Bam can be whatever he wants to be. If he wants to be the best player in the league, he has the talent, the ability, to do that. He just doesn't have, I don't think he has the mindset necessary in order to become that guy, to become a takeover guy, which is, there's no problem with that. Like there's
not everybody can do it.
There's definitely space. Look how effective Klay Thompson was. Like he's as ridiculous as a role player can possibly get, but he's not necessarily like, oh, I need this guy to build my team around. So I definitely think Bam is like the biggest unicorn in the league, but he doesn't necessarily have the mindset to be like, okay, I want to be the best guy. So
okay, yeah, I think that's a sentiment that a lot of Heat fans share. But to a lot of these credits and a lot of these people in the comments, they do say like this maybe isn't going to be Bam's final form. I think a lot of us just take for granted that he's 24 years old. There's still room to grow there,
and it's true. I mean, look at the way he's progressed his game. Like
I think I've seen a little like a sliver more of like killer instinct a little bit. It just comes, it like you said, is sort of like a picking spots, which at least I'm fine with it because last year I feel like there wasn't really a picking spots. It was either it was going to happen or it wasn't. Now it's kind of, I know when I can do these sort of things. Like tonight, for example, he comes down. I think it was Strus that got him the ball. He immediately had Beal switched on to him because it was in transition. Gets the switch, backs down Beal, probably like for 4 power dribbles. And then he sees PJ in the corner, rifles it to PJ, and PJ hits the 3. Like that, maybe it isn't the killer instinct, but maybe the killer instinct to make the right play. That was just really cool to see because we haven't really seen that sort of thing. Ricky, you were going to jump in here on Bam.
Yeah, well, with regards to this isn't my final form, for those of you that remember the Frieza saga, Frieza was a killer in his first form, okay? So it's just the reason he was in that first form was so he could be less brutal and so he could preserve his energy, okay? A little bit of DBZ schooling for all of y'all out there, okay?
Give it to him, Ricky. There you go.
But yeah, no, they're going to take it. They're going to take it. They're going to take it. And here's the thing. It's funny you mentioned that, Gad, because I remember a particular agenda that was being pushed on this particular network about a year or so ago.
Yes, Baby Bron. We argued it. We argued it.
There it is. Now, he's not LeBron James. He's never going to be LeBron James. Yeah. He's already 4 years behind because Bron came out the womb killing folks. But the thing is, where we are right now with regards to Bam is that as long as you are able to continue to develop the right kind of talent around him, you don't necessarily need him to have the mentality of Last Dance Michael Jordan. Not everyone has that mentality, and that's okay. That's the amazing thing about the guys that do have that mentality. They happen to be a small percentage of the league that it's just to have them is special. Sometimes you don't know. For example, just the other night, Giannis Antetokounmpo dropped 47 points on Anthony Davis's head. You're talking about the 2 most talented big men in the last 5-10 years in the league now, definitely, and not counting Joel Embiid, who's always hurt,
and Jokic.
Yes, Jokic too, of course, for sure. But the thing is, it's like, and I think we talked about this on Twitter. I think maybe a week ago or a couple days ago. Anthony Davis is one of the most talented players in the league, but he coasts a lot.
Here.
We flash back to the Heat-Lakers game. I went back and checked, and I think I sent that. I sent the box score of the fourth quarter to you. I didn't think he scored in that fourth quarter. He scored 2 points.
2 or 3 points? 2 points?
He had 2 points. He was, I think, 1 for 5 from the field. Best player on the floor, 2 points. I don't care if Russell Westbrook is on the floor. If you call for the ball, Russ ain't going to be like, nah, forget you. I'm going to. Unfortunately, Russ has this reputation. Nah, he will give you the ball. It's just like if the play is breaking down, he'll chuck it from 40 feet and brick it terribly. Like that one GIF that you shared the other day. But yeah, like Anthony Davis, as an example, if he really wanted to, if he were to assert himself every night, the Lakers wouldn't be a middling 500 team in the Western Conference right now. They have too much talent. And I don't want to make this a Lakers rant or anything, but look, Bam has that ability. Dating back to his second year in the league, I distinctly remember him saying during an interview, I'm ready to do a whole lot more if the coaching staff will let me. Okay? You can go back and check that. And I'm sure Brady has that in his in one of his breakdowns from like 2016 or 17 or 18 or 19
when he was 4 years old.
Exactly. Well he broke down his, you know what, never mind. But yeah, like at this point, uncage the lion. Let that man cook. Let that man go. I just hope that it's not a matter of him listening too much to the coaching staff trying to move him along slowly. Because right now, and I don't like bringing up the whole max contract thing because he did demand it and he did get it, and to be fair, he did deserve it. But it's like, okay, you got that money now. Go out and do your thing. We're ready. It's time. Because here's the thing. You mean to tell me Jimmy and Kyle won't defer to Bam if he decides he wants to take over a game?
They would be happy for him to do so. I think that this is actually, I love this conversation we're having because it does put into perspective, like when you get to such a league where like the top of the league is so saturated in talent, like all these guys are so ridiculously talented, the best players at everything they do in the world. Like what really separates the complementary stars from the superstars that you build around? It really is that killer mentality. And shout out to, where is it? Jason Adebawale. This dono here before we get to some of the other ones. He said, if Bam had Giannis's mentality, it would be game over for the league.
Yes.
I pretty much wholeheartedly agree. Like he would probably be closer to that Giannis level. It's just like that mentality is probably more rare than the actual talent, which is crazy to say. So let's get to some of these other donos here. You had one up from somebody.
Yep,
John?
somebody had one up. Let me pull it up.
Said, back in first place, baby. Jimmy buckets for MVP. Trophy. Thumbs up. I totally very happy. Christian Cardews. Gloria James held him up and said, "Behold, doctor." Pretty much. LeBron is just unbelievable. So I guess that kind of goes through all of those comments that we had here. I really did enjoy that tangent on Bam because that is pretty much, I think, the last step. I feel like the talent, it's not all the way there. Like there's some things that he can definitely refine: the handle, the finishing off the dribble, kind of getting the contact with the shoulder like Jimmy does. But those are things I think you just gain with experience of being in a league. Like not everybody, like Ricky said, is LeBron James. So yeah. Anyways, 56 minutes in. Let's get to next game because we're going to see a little bit of a different Wizards team. I think the only player that we can for sure expect back is Spencer Dinwiddie. Jonathan, we'll start with you here. The boy feeling good?
The boy feeling good. I mean, I think we saw out of this team a lot of positive takeaways, right? Although we're probably not going to get another Gabe Vincent game like this immediately. I liked what I saw from him. Caleb Barton showed out. We proved that even with a bad shooting half, we can still keep ourselves in the game by, like Eric Reed said, running through our running backs and Kyle Lowry, Jimmy Butler, and PJ Tucker. So I feel like we can control the game defensively. We can kind of mimic the things we did. I love the zone. The zone worked really, really well. I feel like we can get it. Our boy feeling really, really good.
Boy feeling good. Okay, absolutely. Twan, how's the boy feeling?
The boy is feeling lovely. I cannot wait for this matchup on Saturday. Hopefully we can get some guys back. Hopefully we can get Tyler back. God bless Markieff Morris, still suffering from whiplash.
Oh, brother.
But, I don't know if we're going to get another. Well, I know we're not going to get another Gabe performance like this. But you just got to hope that somebody on the bench steps up because in every game that we've had recently, there's been one bench guy who's really popped for us. You don't know if you're going to get another PJ game like that, but he's been relatively consistent recently. So I think like Rose said, I think it's going to be a big time game on Saturday. I think we smacked them around. How with Spencer Dinwiddie or not, it don't really matter. I think it's going to be big for us. We're going to have some guys back.
Interesting. I think Spencer Dinwiddie does make a huge impact for this team. Even if you just watch the games or you just look at the numbers, like Spencer Dinwiddie, he does a lot for these guys. Like he's justifying that contract right now. I think he's averaging like 18, 6 and 5 or something. But this is a game I've kind of been feeling iffy about. Ricky, the boy feeling good?
Yeah, I feel pretty good. I mean, we talk about Spencer Dinwiddie and Bradley Beal and all those other guys, but here's the thing. They do good against other teams. We're not talking about the Malik Monks of the world. We're talking about guys that do well, but have problems with really good, borderline historic defenses. And that's what Miami is. Miami's going to go in there. They're going to tighten up that defense because, remember, they are on the road. There's something about Heat culture that travels where when they're on the road, that defense is a problem because they don't like the people there. They're not home. They're just trying to get back to Miami because, look, we're in November. Ain't nobody trying to stay in D.C. I was in D.C. I lived in D.C. during the spring. It wasn't fun. It was cold, all right? They're not trying to stay up there. They're trying to go in there, defend, shut everybody down, finish this thing off, and presumably go back home. I'm not sure if we have a homestand right after this, but I think Miami's going to do very well. And to echo my fellow King Royal A. Shepherd, we are going to
The symbolism, man. Unbelievable.
It's a family show. What do you want me to do?
So
No, Gab,
I'm feeling iffy about this game.
You have to say it. It's your responsibility.
Do you want to host for a second?
All right. The Heat are about to blow this shit out. What you mean? We're about to go into Washington. The second best player on the Wizards is this guy. We're gonna go there. We're gonna wipe the floor with these guys. It's not even gonna be close. Duncan is gonna hit more threes than he did this game, and it's gonna be an even bigger gap than this game. So
I mean, the bar is the floor, right? If we don't get 3 threes from Duncan, I think like that's probably gonna be a red flag because he's probably gonna be shooting under 20%. Can you put up the photo of Kuzma one more time?
Sure.
Actually, fun fact. I got a fun fact for you, Gad, when you're done.
Please.
So when I was actually living in DC, I actually discovered that. Did you know that the state of Florida is the only state in the United States that actually has an embassy in Washington DC, right on Capitol Hill? Right.
Are we that weird?
Yeah, it's called the Florida House, where you go in there and they'll give you freshly squeezed orange juice. I kid you not. So you could argue that we already own property up there.
This is true, and up here too.
Well, I mean,
Bradley Beal, we probably have like a 30% stake on his mental state. I can't lie.
Oh yeah.
Every time he plays against the Heat, he is significantly happier than he was the day before.
Whole lot of conversations on the court.
This is the best 3-day stretch for Bradley Beal's life, honestly, because he plays the Heat on Thursday in Miami. Probably going to stick around tomorrow, fly back home tomorrow night, get back, sleep in his own stupid bed in Washington, and then talk to some more Miami people the day after. So maybe he'll be happy about it. Who knows? But so I didn't want to say that Heat were going to blow that shit out. I think the Heat are going to blow that shit out, honestly. I really do. I really, really do. After thinking about it, looking at the numbers tonight, like the Wizards played a good game. They just turned the ball over a little bit. I think that's credit to Miami's defense for the most part. And they didn't have Hero. They were on a back-to-back. Jimmy was supposed to be tired, right? He asked for Kyle and Bam to show up to work. I mean, we didn't get a great game from Duncan. We didn't get a great game from Lowry. We got a great game from Vincent. We got an unbelievable game from PJ. I said it before and I'll say it again. This team is so good. I don't think there's going to be a point where I'm ever really going to pick against them. There's only going to be nights where I think the gap is going to be wider than usual. And I was worried about this game, but I just think the Heat know this next game is going to be a trap game. They're riding half. They're winning 2 straight back on a back-to-back. I don't think that's going to get to them.
Yeah, they can't handle the D.
Against Washington. They want to put this team kind of back to where they're supposed to be.
What'd you say there, Ricky? Okay, don't worry about it.
Oh, okay. Well,
what happened?
That's what I said before. I was just reiterating that.
Okay, I understand.
I didn't really hear what happened, so I'm a little.
No, it's fine.
I'll take it.
It's for the better.
I'm sure Ricky was very insightful there.
I mean, the D's been unbelievable this year.
Actually fantastic.
Phenomenal D.
Memorable.
Girthy.
Okay, you know what?
Whoa,
let's just keep it rolling.
See,
here.
I don't know what
that was
defense.
Ricky, pull up. Do you have the yellow card by any chance?
What?
Got a yellow lanyard.
The Lakers?
What are we doing, Ricky?
Oh no!
It's yellow.
LeBitcoin has infiltrated the stream. No, get him out of here. Hey Doge, we can't do it. LeBlockchain, come on now.
Saying I got the Heat one. Don't worry.
Oh, he's got the lanyards. Okay, I respect.
You know what I'm saying, like, what you mean? I stay strapped.
You know, absolutely. So yeah, I mean, good game for the Heat overall. I think we're all pretty happy about this kind of win. You did it without Tyler Hero on the floor. You've got some confidence in Gabe Vincent. PJ Tucker looks legitimately unbelievable. Jimmy Butler is an MVP candidate. You got good game from Bam. You didn't get a great game from Duncan or Kyle, and we are the number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference right now. After a pretty rough schedule, there's still going to be some more tough games, probably up until like the Christmas break is when things get really, really easy for us. But I mean, this team is impressive. I think we really have to be happy with 11-5 right now.
Yep.
11-5, number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference, and we've had some injuries. We've had our fair share of this, that, and the other. This team is good. This team is really, really good.
You know, Gad, you know what's funny? Let me see. This is it's 2021 now, so approximately 11 years ago, Miami had one more loss on their record, and they were talking about firing Spo. Now we're all like, oh, we're the best team in the Eastern Conference. We got this. Perspective, okay? 10-6, 11-5.
Well, 10-6 would look a lot less pretty because we would be probably 2 games behind the number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference.
It's a game.
No, I'm just saying like the optics of how it all looks. I'm still supremely confident this team win or lose, especially on Saturday. Doesn't really matter.
Put Royals' comment up real quick.
Which one?
I don't even know.
There was a couple.
Yeah, there was a bunch. I don't know. I'll figure it out. No, not that one. I don't know. Whatever. Let's move on. It's okay.
Okay. So, any last words before we wrap for the night?
Give Caleb Martin a max contract. That man is first team all culture. I absolutely love him. He may be my favorite player of all time. More Caleb Martin minutes, please. It's gonna suck to see him have to go to the G League this year. That's gonna be so upsetting.
He's not gonna go to the G League.
He's gonna have to.
He's got 50 games, and if we don't figure out another roster spot by 50 games, that's on us. He's going to be on this team. I think we're getting to the point where there's actually some development to happen there. So he makes so much sense to be that you sign him for the last 20 games of the year. You sign him to a 3-year deal. You get him on those bird rights that the way they like to do with all of their kind of diamonds in the rough, and you go from there. It just makes so much sense. He fits this team just way too well. Way too well. He's getting minutes over a lot of the guys that we didn't expect to happen.
He's like a rotation guy.
He is. Absolutely.
Legitimately.
He's arguably maybe ahead of Pierce right now.
Yeah.
Ricky, any last words on the game?
Another Heat team win. Next man up worked out. I'm looking forward to the future. I've been saying this for a couple of weeks now. It's going to be we experienced a slight setback. Just the road trip wasn't as good as we wanted it to be, but ultimately, I think we're heading into a pretty solid December for this team as some of the guys come back healthy. I feel pretty good. And one last thing, buy the KZ dip. I'm a KZ lever.
KZ.
I'm all about that. So don't give up on him just yet. Same way I say don't give up on Duncan, because at the end of the day, this Heat team will be there in the end, and so will their D.
The D is forever.
Good teams come and go, but the D is forever.
This is true. Jonathan, is that your last words for the night?
No, I do want to finish the Heat are the number 1 seed, right? Jimmy Butler is the MVP, and
unbiased.
Out of our 5 losses that we had, 3 of them were in the West Coast, which is really good when it comes to tiebreaker. So I think that's a little bit of perspective for moving forward. Only 2 of our losses have come to East Coast teams, so I think that's really going to help when it comes to seeding down the line. So yeah, man, feeling really good. We got the girthiest D in the league. Let's get it done.
You all right, Gad? So is it too much for you? You gonna be okay?
We just got that quote on Gabe Vincent's breakout night.
Won't you go to sleep, Gad?
Really?
You're right.
Oh my gosh, Jonathan is.
Get you some water. You look like you're about to sweat. You be all right.
I was gonna say something, but you know what? It's not gonna happen. Shout out everybody in the comments for making the show better than it should have been. Shout out Royal for being in the comments. Royal's gonna be back on Saturday. It's gonna be a fun show. Jonathan's gone. I don't even know where Jonathan went.
He fell into the abyss.
My camera died.
Camera died, but the D is forever. Ain't that right? All right, play the video, Jonathan.
Jimmy buckets! Clutch time!
Tyler Hero, what a finisher he's become.
Lane, Oladipo, That's right. You better mean mug after you dunk on somebody that way.